Welcome back. 10 Democratic presidential hopefuls making their pitch to voters in the first round of primary debates. Just the beginning. Here to break down the top moments is partner and president at Malinsky and Partners, Lee Carter. Great to have you with us this morning, Lee. It's been a little while.
Great to be here. It has been. It's good to be back.
I'm going to go through three different things here, and let's begin quickly with Democrats on immigration, and then I'll get your response.
I would sign an executive order that would get rid of Trump's zero-tolerance policy, the Remain in Mexico policy, and the metering policy.
Free dreamers forever from any fear of deportation by making them U.S. citizens here in this country.
On day one, I will make sure that, number one, we end the ICE policies and the customs and border policies that are violating the human rights.
All right. So top moment. What did you think?
You know, I think there the advantage went to Booker. I think the immigration policy debate is one that's really fascinating to me because 50% of Americans don't think that the border is secure. They want more border reform. And so when you look at this is a risky strategy for Democrats. What they need to be focused on if they're going to win this debate is a more humane way of getting immigration in. And I think Castro lost that. I think he was focused too much on blowing things up, where people want things more secure and more human rights in how things are going. And I think that advantage went to Cory Booker.
That's
but I think it's important to note that immigration is not a top issue for Democrats.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's talk about the economy, though. Democrats on the economy, and listen to this.
This economy has got to work for everyone. And right now, we know that it isn't.
This economy is not working for average Americans.
When you've got a government, when you've got an economy that does great for those with money and isn't doing great for everyone else, that is corruption, pure and simple.
I wondered how they were going to tackle this because, you know, no argument. The economy is doing well right now.
Yeah, I mean, this is a fascinating issue because even Democrats, over 60%, say the economy is doing well for them. The economy isn't a top 5 issue for Democrats. So the job of the Democrat candidates here is to actually prove that there is an issue with the economy when there wasn't one. So how do they do that? They all talked about it as it's not an economy that's working for the average American. Did it work? I'm not so sure, but that's certainly the strategy that you saw a lot of them employ last night. And the one that did it most effectively, I think, is Elizabeth Warren. The question to me is it going to work? Because I think most people are feeling pretty good and optimistic about the economy right now, and I'm not sure it's an issue that they should be going after.
Yeah, Senator Warren, I think it was her very first answer coming out of the gate was talking about the economy. How about the Democrats who are speaking Spanish, though? Listen to this.
Necesitamos incluir cada persona en el éxito de esta economía.
La situación ahora es inaceptable. Este presidente ha atacado, ha demonizado los inmigrantes.
Me llamo Julián Castro y estoy postulando por presidente de los Estados Unidos.
All right. So how do you think this played out?
You know, I think it's very important when you've got 20 candidates up there, the candidate who's going to win the Hispanic vote is going to really carry a lot of weight here because there's got to be something that differentiates them. Is it a risky strategy? Absolutely. Who came across as most authentic with it? I think Beto certainly had some issues with it. A lot of people were making fun of him. You can even see the memes on Twitter. But the bottom line is this. The Hispanic vote is very important to the Democrat candidate who's going to win in 2020. And so starting now, starting in Miami, I think it was a smart strategy. The question is who did it most authentically. And I think that when you look at it, I think Beto is the one that fell to the side on this one.
Yeah, I'm glad you used that word authenticity because that's something I was actually trying to think of last night, you know, who was being authentic and what they had to say. And I go back to where we began in terms of immigration and Julian Castro bringing up the picture of the father and daughter who died trying to get here in talking about immigration. What did you think about that?
You know, I think that when you can bring the personal side to it, I think that's where you win. I think not going after the direct attack, saying how inhumane Republicans are or Donald Trump is, that's not the way to go. I think when you bring the photos, when you bring the images, when you bring the stories, that's when people start to get emotionally connected. And I think that Castro did a very good job with that.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Thank you so much, Lee. Appreciate having you on.
All right. Thank you, Heather.